What is happening, everybody? My name's Seven and welcome to a Battlegrounds guide video. Now in this video I'm going to gift you 10 random tips, and if you enjoy this series I will continue doing more episodes. Now these random tips are going to be for beginners, but also you might not know some of these if you're just kind of fresh to the game, or you might not even know if you've played quite a lot of it. I don't really know what you know, but I do know what is useful to teach to you guys. So in this video I have 10 individual tips that will help you improve your gameplay and learn a little bit more about how to play Battlegrounds. So to start off, when you're jumping out of the beginning plane, your flying is ultimately a huge decision maker. So depending on what it says on the left hand side of the bar, which is your speed, this can vary from anywhere between 126 kilometers and 234 kilometers an hour where you hit terminal velocity. These different techniques you can use will determine where you land in the map when you first jump in. I've got a full guide on how to do all of these different things, different styles of jumps and other ways of landing on certain parts of the map, as well as techniques for when you've actually already pulled your parachute, etc, about speeds and so on. I've got a full video and I'll link that in the description if you want to go check that out. But ultimately you need to learn how to fly properly. That's tip number one. If you don't know how to traverse over the landscape and you don't know where to land, then you need to practice and you need to learn some locations. This will come with obviously playing, or you can go and check out some of my other videos. Tip number two is when you land on the ground, sometimes you might not be able to find a weapon straight away, and this is something that occurs quite often within Battlegrounds. Now if you find yourself in conflict up close with somebody else, that's fine, but I would advise you to learn how to fist fight. Now I have a couple of friends who are like so unconfident when it comes to fist fighting, they really don't enjoy it, and the number one tip for fist fighting is what you're seeing on screen. If you jump up and punch downwards, you will do a like Superman punch, and it causes so much more damage. I believe 2 to even 3 sometimes of these will kill your opponent, and this is very OP. So I advise you learning this trick for when you land and you don't have any weapons. Tip number 3 might sound like an actual joke, but it really isn't. When you are roaming around and you're finding weapons and you're picking up loot, one of the items that you can find is a pan. Now you might think to yourself, well, I'm not picking that up, I don't need it, why would I need to carry that? But honestly, surprising to a lot of new players, this can save your ass literally. So the clip you're seeing here, this was my brother. I was shooting him and he had no idea that this was even achievable. You can also use it as a weapon to kill people as well. Unfortunately, in a fist fight, the fist fight will most likely win because it takes three hits with the pan to kill somebody. By that point they can defeat you with a fist, so it depends on how the fight goes, I suppose. But this clip shows you exactly how bulletproof the pan really is. Often if you're getting shot from behind, you could be running up a hill or going crazy, and then all of a sudden you bang bang bang, you hear the ting ting and you realize that your life has been saved by the pan. So tip number 3 is always pick up the pan whenever you find one. Tip number 4 might sound extremely obvious, but it is one of the things that a lot of players fail to do. So you see this guy, this is an enemy, I'm approaching him inbuilt at the power station, and as I'm chasing behind him, he's not even looking around, he's not listening to sound, and then when I step in again, another player misses my jump punch and doesn't even hear me. He then kills the guy I originally followed and he just wanders around. He doesn't hear me, he doesn't see me, and it's all because he wasn't using alt on PC. I don't know what it will be when it comes on console, but the ability to look around your character. This guy completely failed, both of these guys completely failed to use the most simplistic factor in the game, which allows you to look around when traveling. On PC you hold down alt, and while running in a forward direction you can look 360 degrees. These guys completely and utterly missed me, and I don't know how. And even if they hadn't used this, they should have been listening out using a headset. So I advise you for tip number 4 is to always look around. Even when you feel complacent, that tool will allow you to stay alive and avoid disgusting moments like this to occur to yourself. Luckily the guy got away, but if he hadn't, I could have easily picked up the first guy's weapons and killed him too. It didn't happen like that, but even then he opened himself up to allow that situation to happen. Tip number 5 is a game changer, and it will ultimately either decide your death or your success. Now in this situation I'd found a building, it had a car parked outside and it had its brake lights on, which insinuated that there was still people around this settlement. Now I looked at the building, and the one thing you want to look for is smashed windows, damage to doors or open doors or enclosed doors. So in a settlement like this where there was 4 or 5 doors, all the other doors were open bar this one. This one had all of its doors closed and its windows were damaged as if there had been an an attack. We were correct, there was a team in here. However, we were unfortunate, we lost a teammate, and then it also led to the death of my extra teammate too. I ended up taking their car and just leaving because they were so well held up, I couldn't take them out successfully on my own. So I decided I'd save my life and I'd leave with the barrier coming in, but it led to the death of a teammate and another teammate prior. So always check the windows to see if they've been damaged, and always check the doors and see if they're open, if they're closed, and always check for vehicles that have been left on. They'll always have brake lights if they have been used. Tip number 6 is to never underestimate the power of the shotgun. Of course, that sounds really obvious, but a lot of people do avoid the shotgun. They go, I'd rather have an SMG, or I'd rather have an assault rifle. At the starter point of the game, and even at the end point of the game, in confined spaces where everyone's crushed together, this gun is godly and it has ridiculous range. The shotguns that currently exist in the game are insane, and this clip I'm about to show you is where I take out 2 double teams, okay? So I go into a building, I have a shotgun, and I absolutely destroy 2 double teams. This will show you the power of the shotgun. So tip number 6 is always use a shotgun when you can, especially in confined spaces. Let's see. Oh shit, 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 shit. Oh my god, he missed, he missed. Oh, let's go. Get knocked out. Dude, Captain Barney just got shat on. Let's go. Oh, fuck, 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 fuck. How did he not see me? How did he not see me? Oh, there's a second one. Oh my god. Oh. Oh, 3 kills! Yo, I one-shot that guy in the cupboard. Yo, no, yo. Honestly, I never ever touch shotguns. The most I ever do is like, oh, I'll pick it up for the lols. Ah! Tip number 7 is that I advise you to use items as bait. Now, I've been baited with medkits before. They've purposely left them at the entrance to buildings. I've went to grab them and then I've died in the proceeds of picking them up because I'm so focused on picking them up. I think, well, nobody would leave that there, would they? And then I get killed. So use items of high value like a medkit for bait. And in this example, we go for a care package. We know there's a boat going for it, so they kind of, it's a full-on attack at that point, but we use it as bait. We knew they were coming towards it, so we full-on frontal attack them. I went down, but my mate managed to get the kills and the revive. Unfortunately, we were then flipped upon, so basically a guy was baiting the care package as well. He gets the kills on both me and my mate. So for one care package, 4 people died, and one guy came out with so much gear, it was ridiculous. So definitely use different items in the game as bait, because ultimately if you bait it correctly, you'll get free easy kills, because people will die when they least expect it. And that's the number 7 tip. Now, tip number 8 is a big game changer, and it can ultimately put loads of people to death without even having to worry about conflict. Sometimes there may be conflicts, but the clip you're about to see on screen is from a stream that I recently did, and this is a tip that I picked up from Aculite, who's a really good Battlegrounds and Rainbow Six player. Now, we're on the back of a buggy and I'm shooting the hell out of another buggy that's in front of us. I shoot at the tires in the hope that I burst them, and I didn't know that we had. We end up going towards the buggy, we get a very lucky clip, and we end up killing the guy. It was completely and utterly fluke, but the example here is that even when driving, it's always worth trying to take out the tires of the enemy's vehicle. It's a lot easier to take out the tires than it is to try and kill an entire team inside, say for example, a 4-wheeler. And here's another example of us taking out tires of a vehicle that's left out of a house. This actually had brake lights on, so we took them out to prevent the people in the houses coming out and having a vehicle. So tip number 8 is always take out tires on enemies' vehicles. This can make a huge difference to the game. It might lead to a fluke kill, it might lead to a successful bleed out, in the sense that you might actually force some people to die by the barrier. Now, tip number 9 is a big one, because the way that people play Battlegrounds ultimately changes the win. So one person might win if they play more aggressive, or one other person might win if they played more passive. Now, this is a clip of me when I was in a competitive situation. Unfortunately, my teammate passed away, we didn't have a vehicle, and I had to run with the barrier causing damage to me. Now, it's the most embarrassing death you can possibly have in the game without a doubt, and it's happened on numerous occasions. Don't ever underestimate the barrier, especially as it goes further and further into the game. If you don't know what the barrier is, it's the blue zone that moves in and tightens you into the white area where basically everyone fights. So it's the playable zone that you have to be within. Play very carefully with the blue barrier. If this thing damages you, it will take your life, like it does in this clip for me. And unfortunately, I die in the most embarrassing way when fighting in a competitive situation. It really, really sucks. So definitely for tip number 9, never underestimate underestimate the barrier and play it properly. Travel with it if you need to, or avoid it entirely. And now we're at tip 10. This is going to change a lot of outcomes. So ultimately, if you decide to kill somebody early on, that's fine. If you decide to kill somebody through the mid game and you get the kill, that's fine too. However, I do advise don't kill unless you really need to, especially towards the back end of the game. Mark up where your enemies actually are and kill them at the right time. Sometimes you have no choice and an enemy will run up to you. Now the clip you've seen in the background is a pure example. I know my friend had a ghillie suit, but people didn't even spot him, and the same thing can occur even when you don't have a ghillie suit. People will just run past and you can just leave them to do their thing because they're panicking, they're worrying, they're thinking about their position. And sometimes it's better to have the advantage in the sense of knowing where people are and allowing them to live until you marked everybody else up, and then you can strategically plan how you'll take them all out one by one, or how you'll set them up against each other so that you don't even have to intervene. It might be a fact of throwing a grenade at the right time in the right direction to try and trigger them to look in a different way, and this can ultimately change the outcome of the game. This can help you win a lot more. So guys, that has been it. That is the total of 10 facts. If you want some more, please let me know. I can do other episodes of this. It was a lot of fun going around making this video. Of course, please share it with your friends and leave love and support on the engagements, the likes and the comments, because this video took me a very long time both to edit and record and just to collect all the clips in general. So I hope that you've enjoyed it. If you have, let me know in the comments, because my name's B7, also known as Martin Wood. Like and comment on all that you love. Take care of yourselves. Peace.